Hey folks, how y'all doing? Trent Clark here with Mallett Buildings. Got a good show for you today. We got a spotlight signature ambassador with Mr. Dennis Rankin. All right, he built a beautiful place. We'll talk about it a little bit. We built this shell. He designed his house on the inside, and he did a fantastic job. You'll see it in a minute. But before we do that, like every day, we like to start out with a $500 discount for military personnel, healthcare workers, first responders, and teachers and educators. Remember, that's $500 off your building if you're in the market. We're proud of that. We want you to have it. Make sure you let our building specialists know, and you get that $500. If you want to upgrade to an elite building like you just saw, or a signature, excuse me, type in cash, and you'll get $1,000 off that building, okay? Where are we at? Like I said earlier this week, we got 90 jobs going on this week, probably a little more because it's hard to pinpoint everything. We're all across the map. Far north is Ruston this week. So we go about 200 miles from our location here in Iowa, Louisiana. Sometimes we stretch that and go a little further depending on your needs, and we can help you. But we do sell kits all over the place. So in Louisiana, we got 67 jobs. We're all the way, like I said, mentioned, all the way up into Ruston this week. It's probably our furthest. We got some down in Slidell, it looks like. I mean, we're all over the place, folks. And look, I love to show you this because it takes a lot. Look, this is every day. Not only are we educating our building specialists, we continue to improve our process here, which we'll talk about a little bit in a minute. But we're working very hard to schedule all of this stuff. And when we come through some weather like we've been having the last couple of weeks, it does put a little damper on things. It's just unfortunate, but it's the way it is. And we apologize to our customers that have to wait, but that's just the way it is sometimes. You can't predict Mother Nature. But anyhow, we still are doing 67 jobs in Louisiana. In Texas, we got about 21 jobs or more. We're all the way, that's probably stretching our boundary there. Like I said, if you're outside that area and you don't know, call in. There's a good chance that we're trying to expand a little bit in closer to Dallas, but we're waiting for a couple of builders to get back with us. So anyway, we're doing the same thing all over the place. December specials, look, we got a couple of specials. This is for your backyard, nice building, 20 by 40. This is the rival building. It's Mallett built, but it is the rival building. We designed this building to go up against our competitors. Why? Because they just put out a cheaper building, folks. But we wanted to offer that to you. If price matters to you, then this is the building for you, okay? If you want quality, let's talk about the Mallett building. Let's talk about the classic, or the elite, or the signature, the mid-range building. But there's specific needs. Some of the things, on this rival, you're going to get 29 gauge metal. On all of our Mallett buildings, standard 26 gauge metal. 4-on-12 roof pitch, you're going to get standard 5-on-12 roof pitch. 2x6 scissor trusses, that is a common truss. On all of our buildings, or Mallett buildings, you're going to get 2x8. That's 170 mile an hour truss, folks. And they're scissor truss, standard, okay? Our competitors are going to charge you more for that, both of them. They can't even make the 2x8 truss, okay? These buildings are 130 mile wind rating. They have no uplift control, okay? That is our Mallett cable lock system. That's where we tie all the posts together underneath that slab. All right, it's very, very important. Posts are in the dirt, and on our buildings, we put them on top of an 80-pound bag of concrete of a good padding. 3,000 PSI on these rival buildings. We usually, our standard here at Mallett is 4,000 PSI, which is 33% stronger than 3,000. Plus we add microfiber. They use, in the rival building, we're going to use 2x8 headers, because that's what the competitors is. In order to get down to this price, if that's what you want, this price is $16,999, folks. It's hard to beat that price. But remember, you get what you paid for. We're offering that. I don't really want to sell you that building. I want you to get into the classic building, which we'll talk about here in a little while. But that's the rival, 20 by 40 by 12 for $16,999. And then you got a 20 by 50 by 12 for $20,999, $20,999. Nice building, you know. 5 red flags, rolls into the 5 red flags. Listen, as always, find out the years in business, okay? You can find that out on the Secretary of State website. It's going to be a major red flag if you go there and the people that you're talking about doing business with is not even listed on there. That's a major red flag. But, you know, you'll be able to find that out on the Secretary of State. That's the main thing I want you to get. Anybody can go search it. You can find out how long they've been in business and if they have a business license. All right, proper licensures, you find that out on the LSLBC website. That's where you find out if they're a contractor or not. Okay, if they're not, I would advise to hire a contractor to do your build for you. Even though you may pull your own permit, which means you're going to save money. Most everybody does that, and that's okay. Because we're going to have to, if we're going to be the contractor, I'm going to put a project manager on there. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to make sure everything is the way we need it to be done. However, if you want to pull your permit and be the contractor on record, that's fine. We'll guide you through that, okay? But you find that out on the on the LSLBC. Are they a contractor? Very, very important. If not, that's a red flag. On the same one, you can find out if they have any violations on the LSLBC website. If they have violations, most of our competitors have violations, folks. You can look them up for yourself, all right? That's a red flag if they do. Reviews on BBB and Google, I think that's a very important, and it might be a red flag if they don't have any. All right, moving right along, visit the contractor's facility. It might be a red flag if they don't have one and you're in the front seat of their vehicle or on the hood of their vehicle signing a contract. That could be a red flag, folks. Why Mallett? Well, when you're talking about the rival series and the classic, it's two different buildings, okay? Like I said before, we created the rival series. It's built by Mallett, but it's not really a Mallett building. Why? Because of the features that I already went over with you. I don't really need to go through it again because I went over it. A few that popping out to me, you know, it has limited warranty just like our competitors do. And then most of the competitors are going to use number 2 grade lumber. All of our buildings here at Mallett are number 1 grade MCA treated lumber. Dry kiln, okay? That is very, very important. Just from a strength, if you're talking points on what's the difference from number 1 and number 2, okay? Strength-wise, you're looking at 60%. That's more, that you get better strength here. Why? Because it's only a select few that come off. There's less knots on a number 1 grade lumber, okay? And it's untreated most of the time. All right, we use on all of the Mallett buildings a 100% dry kiln. And I always talk about that. Why is that important? Well, lumber wood treated lumber is CCA treated, which you really don't want to, it's not supposed to build and live in something or be in something with CCA treated for a long period of time. Also, when you screw into that thing, you'll see like a wetness, like juice coming out of it. And what that is because that's the treatment. That's the treatment of the wood, okay? And the reason why we dry kiln ours is because we know that when the sunlight starts to dry that wood, it'll actually push out your screws, okay? Which then you could possibly get leaks. So that's the difference between what our competitors build, and we will build you one. It's called the rival, or what we build, which is the Mallett Classic building, okay? Now let's get into the classic offer we have. We have a Cajun Oasis 30 by 50 by 12 for $49,999. Now that is a Mallett building. It does have the 2x8 scissor truss. It's going to come with all the specs that we have, and we have specs on everything that we do. We don't hide anything from them. We'll give you those specs. $49.99, but you're gonna get electrical package in there, and you're gonna get a 5-ton AC unit, which is about a $10,000 value. Okay, and if you really want to get this thing right, we can spray foam that thing for you. Then you can build that thing out, and you can turn on the lights, turn on the AC or the heater, and you're in business. You build that thing out the way you want, just like the person we're fixing to talk to. Then you got a Cajun Elite. That's all the bells and whistles. You're going to get the 6-inch concrete. We'll talk about that in a minute. What's the difference? You're still going to get the 5-ton AC. You're going to get the electrical package. This bad boy is $59,999, and this is a 30 by 50 by 12 building. Great, great building. Okay, we've sold a lot of them just because it's the whole package, and it's the Elite. Okay, now Mallett Ambassador Club. What is that? Okay, if you're looking to buy a building, we have ambassadors out there that our building specialists can set you up with. You can go look at their building, you can ask them questions, and you can see, you can physically see, because it is night and day when you walk into a Mallett building versus any of our competitors' building. So much more wood. You can just, it just feels stronger when you walk in that thing. All right, and our building specialists can set you up with an ambassador. Now, we do pay them a referral fee for doing that. So on the other hand, if you have bought a building from Mallett and would like more information on how to become an ambassador, we'd be glad to send you the information. All right. So moving right along, we got Mr. Dennis Rankins. You know, he. Wait till you see the inside of this building. This is a. I have a video to play. Okay. Go ahead. Right now? He's playing a video. Sorry about that.
My name's Dennis Rankin. Originally, I'm from Des Allemands, Louisiana. Got married and spent 30 years in Luling, Louisiana. And in 2006, I bought this property in Wilma, which is in northern Tangipahoa Parish, and I've slowly been working on it ever since. And then in 2023, I think May of 2023, I did a lot of research leading up to that point, and I decided to go with Mallett Building because I thought that they was the best choice to go with at the time. What stood out to me about Mallett was while I was doing research leading up to May of 2023, on Facebook, I basically joined nearly every Barndominium site available so I could do some research, really with the thought of reading comments of people around the country, what they like about certain things about Barndominiums, certain things they didn't like. What always brought me back to Mallett was the engineering, the professionalism, and the longevity of the time they've been in business and the span of the area that they've covered. I chose the Mallett Elite because it was pretty much the top of the line, and that's what I wanted because I was not building a shop or a garage or what have you. This was going to be a home, as I wanted to build a Barndominium. I was really impressed with the engineered truss and how everything was manufactured, and you know, the wind rating, and pretty much it. When my friends and family and relatives see it, they're impressed. I don't think they understand growing up in a subdivision, even though Luling and St. Charles Parish is not country-esque. It's also not very city, but it is more subdivision. And when they come out here and they see a metal building that was transformed into a residence, they're impressed. They're like, you know, wow, I didn't know you could do that. You know, I didn't know, let me rephrase that. I didn't know that could be done. So they're impressed. If someone was on the fence about Mallett, I would just say, just do your research. Do your research. I mean, it's easy. Things are engineered. It's not a fly-by-night company about, hey, I know a guy that has my brother-in-law that has a friend that can build metal buildings and you can make that a house. No, I'm not going that route. I would tell anybody, research Mallett Buildings, research the engineering, research the thought process and the design going into a Mallett building, and that would pretty much answer your questions.
All right, we live again. Hey, Mr. Dennis, you got a nice property. Thank you for that interview. That was a very nice interview. I must say that I know that while we have this up right here, this picture, I want to point out a few things. We have some competitors out there right now that are trying to offer a 8x8 post on all your porches, okay? That would be, what they're saying is, what their claim to fame right now is they're offering 8x8 posts. Now, I don't know if they're sinking them in the ground. If they're sinking them in the ground, which I think they are, that's a no-no. Why? They don't make post protectors for 8x8 posts. Also, 8x8 posts, you can't really get them, dimensional. They're going to be a rough cut, okay? Or you buy those and they're not going to be engineered. Everything, like Mr. Dennis said, everything that we do here is engineered. So what he has done and what we recommend to our customers do, we got a engineered 6x6 that we put in the ground. He bought an elite building. He's got post protectors. What he's done is he's wrapped this 6x6 post, furred it out. In the industry, we call that fur out. He has furred out this post, made him some nice trim around there, and stained it. Okay, that's what we recommend to do. Our competitors out there are putting these 8x8s in the ground. They're CCA treated, and if you look at Mr. Tim Tackett's reply earlier on this feed, he is absolutely right. It is not allowed in residential applications. So keep that in mind, folks. When he says fly-by-night companies, that's what I'm talking about. I'm glad he mentioned that. You know, we're working with somebody right now that's getting a quote from somebody else, and their big thing is these 8x8 posts that they're putting in the ground. Listen, ultimately, you can do what you want. You're the customer. But this is the way to do it right here. He furred these out, made them look great, and it's all dimensional lumber and all engineered. That's the difference from these people. He used the word fly-by-night. I mean, that's most of our competitors. They just don't engineer these buildings like we do. They don't have an engineer on staff like we do. Our engineer is looking at every building that we put together and saying, whoa, that building is 20 foot. We're going to have to, even though the customer might not have, known this from the beginning, we got to pull those posts together. We have somebody watching. We are an engineering firm. Our competitors are buying truss from a third party, putting your building together, saying, hey, I'm going to put your building at 10-foot post spacing and 5-foot truss spacing, and they don't understand or know what you're doing with it. And that building is not engineered for what you need. So be careful when you do that. Mr. Dennis said a mouthful when he said fly-by-night, and he also came back. He did a lot of research. He kept coming back to Mallett because of the years we've been in business. That's one of the red flags that we talk about every day. That's important stuff, okay? And not only that, but the way that we engineer our product. And while we're on this deal, I don't have, like we did last week, I have the building process. I can't show you. We used a different system back then about, I guess in 2024, about March or April of 2024 is when we went to the new system where now when we build a building, we have pictures for a lifetime. Before we used an Arlo system, it only kept things for a short period of time. It just wasn't, that shows you that we're constantly improving our process. So when we go through his pictures, which I'll do now, I can't really show you pictures of the build like I did last week, but I can show you his beautiful house that we did build for him. He came back and he added him some gutters. He furred out the 6x6 like I said. He went with, these are garage doors. These are not roll-up doors. That's gonna give you a better seal. We talk to a lot of customers. When you're working with these roll-up doors, you're going to get a little bit of water. It's a roll-up door. It doesn't seal tight, say like a garage door would. So on these roll-up doors, you may get a little seepage of water. That's the way it is, you know. And those roll-up doors, when it goes down, you'll have a little gap at the top. Well, he chose to go with, you know, overhead doors, which are garage doors, you could say, which is going to give you a little bit just like at your house, you know. So he did a great job, you know, with this project, and I just want to show you, you know, what he did with it. It's a beautiful place. He's been built, I think it was built in 23. You know, this is again a better picture of the fur out. He's got what we build is 6x6 posts going in the ground that have a post protector on it. He furred this out and made it look like this. That's what we recommend. Don't go with the rough cut, you know, CCA treated post that our competitors are out there trying to push. You know, I'm going to try to talk to you. If I get you, if you come in our place, I'm going to try to talk you out of it and go to this system, because we can engineer with the posts that we use. All right, keep that in mind. Look how this is a better picture of it. Looks like he used some cypress or pine. Can't tell the difference. It looks like might be pine. I don't. Yeah. He even did the top of his deal. Got this matching door here. He did Mr. Dennis. You did a fantastic job on this. Look how pretty this house is. Love the colors. That black goes good with the wood grain. Now, he did a great job. We need to reach out and find out whoever did the inside, if he did that himself or what. But he did a good job. So I can show you inside pictures. I wish I could show you the build of this. Like I said, that proves to you how we improve our process here. Now, there's not a building built without having great pictures, and it's stored for a lifetime here. It's never going to go away, all right, of the whole project. Whereas we can't really show that there because we recognized that we had a system that didn't do what we wanted to do, so we made it better, just like we've done with our buildings, okay? Now, truss system, classic building engineered 2x8 truss, 5-foot spacing. Elite is 2x8 scissor truss, 3-foot spacing. Now, I'm not sure, I was looking at his thing to see, but Mr. Dennis could have went to, he more than likely went to 2-foot truss spacing. We can actually do 2-foot truss spacing. That may cost you a little more, but what you're able to do is when we do 2-foot truss spacing, it is going to cost you more, but you're able to receive with sheetrock or whatever you're going to put on the top. If you go 3-foot, you're stretching it a little much. You're going to have a framer come in there and frame something. Or if you go metal, 3-foot will be sufficient. But a lot of people want to do sheetrock. I'm going to recommend, you know, you tighten up those trusses to 2-foot. And that's probably what he did. I didn't see that on his deal. But anyway, so why does that matter? Why does a 3-foot and a 5-foot? Both are strong, but they're least tighter. 3-foot spacing increase roof load capacity by 40 to 50%. Scissor design allows sealing and extra rigidity. And it's 145 mile an hour wind certified. Now, right now, our trusses are 170. The building's 145, actually 150. We probably need, but the truss are 170. Now, that's a great point because it is going to increase your load. If you want to do, you know, something else, if you want to do asphalt, you can later on in life. If something happens and a tornado comes through and rips a couple of sheets off, you could always change that. But keep in mind that if you're building a house, if you're building a Barndominium, we could tighten up those trusses to 2-foot. It's going to cost you more money. It's going to be, you know, tell you that right off the thing. I think Mr. Tim is saying 5/8 sheetrock on 2-foot center is good to go. So Mr. Tim got that too. And Tim, anybody out there looking for a Barndominium, Mr. Tackett's always on here. He'd be glad to talk to you about it. All right. Post spacing, classic 10-foot, elite 9-foot. Okay. Why does it matter? Reduces unsupported wall span and increases wind resistant, tighter post layout, stiffer structure. We're talking about the distance between these posts here. On an elite, We're going to shorten that up to 9 foot, and on the Classic it's 10 foot. And sometimes depending on your area and depending on the height of your building, sometimes we even go to 8 foot. It depends on when we engineered your building, okay? Wind load rating, Classic's 130, Elite's 145. Concrete system, you know, you got on the Classic building, you got a 4-inch. On the Elite, you got 6-inch. All right. On our Elite packages, you're going to get 6-inch concrete. That's 133% stronger than 4-inch. Okay, which helps whenever you're building those inside walls. That 6-inch, you really don't have to worry about a footing because that 6-inch is sufficient enough. And then if you tie them into the post, it's going to take some of the weight off of that because all your weight of a post frame building is on your post. So it just works out. Under post protection, you know, Classic building, concrete under each post, Elite, concrete under each post, and post protection. That's what we were talking about earlier. Why it matters to add moisture barrier to prevent post rot and decay in Louisiana. All our posts are treated, lifetime warranty, but this just gives you an extra mindset for a small amount of money. Actually, no more money on the Elite building. Okay? Insulation pack, optional. It's optional. The radiant barrier is optional on the Classic. It comes on the Elite, so you're going to get full roof and wall insulation. Also, that radiant barrier acts as a moisture barrier. Okay? Ventilation, you can see here that we have continuous ventilation. You can't really even see it, but there's continuous ventilation up here. You got a standard ridge cap on the Classic building. That matters, but it's not going to matter if a lot of people are spray foaming. So it really cuts that out when you spray foam, right? You got to do another system when you spray foam. You want to get all the moisture out of your house, but when you spray foam that really doesn't matter, okay? It's going to be covered up with spray foam anyway. If you got questions about that, we can talk about that. I can help you with that too. But that's the difference there. And then, of course, gutters, that's always optional on the Classic. The Elite, you get seamless gutters and gutter guards, which are gutter brushes. Why it matters, channels waters away from the slab. Guards keep out debris and reduce maintenance. This is a different building, but you know, painted metal is what you're going to get on the Classic. On the Elite, you're going to get the painted metal and wainscot option. It means that you don't pay for it. To do a wainscot, it costs more money. We throw that in as an option on the Elite. You know, you get, why it matters, you get two-tone. It looks better to some people. Some people don't like it, but it's thrown in for free for you on the Elite package. You don't have to get it. And, you know, it just, to me, it looks better if you're going to do it. Workmanship warranty on the Classic, you get a 4-year. The Elite, you get a 10-year. You know, confidence that your structure is protected for a full decade, more than triple than the industry norm, okay? Not many people are going to give you a workmanship warranty for 10 years, folks. Engineered oversight, Classic, verified by in-house engineer. On the Elite, it's verified by in-house engineer, fully engineered, system signed and sealed per ACE 7. Why it matters, every Elite individual stamp providing compliance with Louisiana latest structural standards. That's our show today, folks. We really appreciate your business. We'll see you tomorrow.